Yeah, this is a really big box. This is the Llama bike Cybertrick CT10 in Llama Blue. Yeah, it's starting to get dark. It might rain soon. I just want to get this thing out of the box, take a look inside. We'll put it together and we'll go for a ride when it's a little nicer outside. Wow, there it is, neatly packed on a little pallet. All right, looks like everything's tie wrapped and Velcro strapped real nicely. I'm gonna go ahead and pull everything apart. All right, there it is, all freed up from the packing material. It was packed really, really nicely. Everything is in great shape. It's no damage shipping. It is, I mean, nearly complete. It's not gonna take much to build this thing. Handlebar, front wheel, basket and fender, stick the battery in and charge it up, and I think we'll be ready to go. I can't wait till the weather gets a little nicer. I've never ridden an e-trike before, so this should be an experience. So I'll tell you a little bit about it before we go for a ride, and then I'll tell you more about it as we hit the road. It's got 6-speed Shimano gearing. It's got a Bafang controller with thumb throttle. These really nice wrapped grips. Llama hydraulic brakes with parking brake. Single front disc and dual rear discs, a nice solid front basket and a good sized rear cargo basket, metal fenders front and rear, zoom handlebars, adjustable front suspension with a lock switch. It's got a 1500 watt peak motor, and because it's a trike, of course it has a differential. Nice wide comfortable seat with some springy suspension, Llama branded cranks with metal pedals. A really well-made all aluminum frame. Look at the welds on this thing. And for a nice, stable, comfortable ride, on the rear you've got 20-inch by 4-inch wide fat tires, and the front tires are 24 by 4-inch. And the battery is a 48-volt, 20-amp-hour unit. Looks like that. Meter on the end here. The battery slips in just like that. All right, easy to adjust seat height. And it's got an adjustable stem here, so you can adjust how high your handlebars are. All right, that's enough specs. Let's go take this thing for a ride. All right, the first thing you're going to notice about a trike is just how stable it is. You don't need to put your foot down. You can just stop anywhere you want. It doesn't tip over. Look at that. No kickstand required. All right, I guess the first thing we need to do is ride the thing and get a feel for it, and it is nice and comfortable, I must say. If you'll notice, the power's not even on. I'm just pedaling. Just because you've got an e-bike, e-trike, doesn't mean you have to use electricity. And believe it or not, in first gear on flat ground here, it is fairly easy to pedal. I think we shift up a little, we can build up some speed. All right, but that's not why we bought an e-trike, right? We want that power. What we'll do is we'll power up the screen here. You'll see it light up like that. And yeah, I'm already going 4 miles an hour with no boost. We're on off right now. So the Llama bike uses what's called a torque sensor as opposed to a cadence sensor. A torque sensor adds power on top of what you're already putting in. So no matter how fast you're pedaling, it's going to add that much more power on top of it. And then you've got adjustment here on the keypad to adjust how much power you want to add in. I've got 5 levels of pedal assist. Right now it's off. First level is called Eco. Second level, Tour. Then Sport. Sport Plus. And then the top level is called Boost. And then no matter which mode of pedal assist you're in, you could always go to the thumb throttle, override everything, not pedal at all, and use pure battery power. So right now I'm going to start off in just Eco mode, which is the very first mode. Starts off real easily. I'm in first gear, so it's got plenty of torque. It gets right off the line without a problem. As I get moving and build up speed, I'll shift it down into 5th or maybe even 6th gear when I get in a straightaway. Yeah, even in Eco mode on this relatively level path, 10 miles per hour is nothing. Super easy. So as you can see in Eco mode, 9-10 miles per hour is super easy, even upwind. I've left it in the range screen so you can see at all times how much range you've got left on the battery. The battery's pretty much full right now. I've got almost 60 miles of range available. Of course, the amount of range you have left is going to be determined by which power level you're using, how much you're pedaling, how much throttle you're using, and the terrain up and downhill. So what's nice is that estimated range actually does update and change as you go into the higher modes. See, it dropped from 59 to 52. I went into the second level of pedal assist, which is Tour, and yeah, now I feel a huge difference, like nearly double the amount of power put in, or half the amount of effort it takes to pedal this thing at approximately 10 miles an hour. All right, let's take it up to 3. I'll call it 3, but it's actually called Sport. And now, yeah, I feel like I'm just lightly riding on the pedals and maintaining like 9 miles per hour. This bike path is a 10 mile per hour speed limit, so we'll try to keep it within reason because there's a bit of traffic today. The max speed on the CT10 is going to be 20 miles per hour. I've already tested that. You can get a little bit more speed going downhill, but personally, I don't feel comfortable going that fast on a trike. Yeah, so what you'll notice about riding a trike is just how stable it is compared to a bicycle. Not as maneuverable, but definitely stable and more relaxing to ride. When you stop, you don't have to put your feet down. Yeah, because you're on a trike, you don't want to corner too fast. You want to put a little bit of lean into it like that. And yeah, it actually holds up pretty well, pretty steady. Now, although you can't turn very fast, you can turn very sharply if you're going slow enough. You can do just about a stationary circle like that. All right, let's try it on a little bit of a hill here. I'm in Sport still, and pedals uphill extremely easily. Very little effort at all. The shipping weight on the box is 160 pounds. The bike itself, no battery, is 103, and then the battery adds another 11 pounds. So you're looking at about a 114 pound bike, all up weight, ready to ride. And then the claimed ranges on battery are between 30 for throttle only on a single battery, up to 282 miles on a dual battery. Pedal assist 1, that's probably ideal conditions. So you can expect to get somewhere between 30 and 140 on a single battery. Realistically, I'd say somewhere in the middle there. All right, I got a little open space here. Let me kick it up to boost, which is top pedal assist, and we'll crank it up to 20, which is like that, easy, really easy. All right, brake test. Nice. I got a nice hill here. I'm only in Tour, which is pedal assist 2, and oh my goodness, this is just way too easy. And if you want to, you can just hit the throttle and just pull yourself right up the hill like nothing. 10, 12 miles an hour, easy. All right, let's try out these 3 hydraulic disc brakes. Going about 15 and yes, nice. All right, just such a nice day for a ride. This thing is a pleasure. Super comfortable, relaxing. All I'm missing is my speaker with my favorite music, and maybe I'd probably add a drink holder on this thing. It'd be nice to have my favorite beverage with me. I got a little dirt hill here. Let's see how it does with some off-roading. Yeah, handles it nicely. Do some bumps. Also, I want to mention the capacity of the bike. This thing, it's got enough adjustability for a rider from 5 foot tall to 6'5", and also check this out, the load capacity is 480 pounds. That means you could really load these racks down with a bunch of cargo if you needed to. One thing I really like that they've included, they've got a horn here so you can warn people that you're coming up behind them like that. All right, should we try a little bit of sand here? This is pretty packed, a little soft. Oh wow, pulls right over it. Yeah, this is not too bad. All right, let's go over here and try it on a little bit of soft sand. I will gear down to let's go to 2nd gear. That'll get us a little torqueier, and I'll keep it in Sport. Let's go down this path here, just in case I get stuck. I'd get myself back pretty easy, and probably should air down the tires. It might do a little better, but this is not too bad at all. It's actually moving along pretty good. Whether I stop or not and can get started, that's something else, but we'll try that in a second. Let's see if we can get down here to the packed sand. Oh yeah, this thing just handles the soft sand like nothing. All right, we get down here to the slightly packed wet sand, and oh yeah, no problem at all. Let's see if we can get ourselves back up this very soft hill. I'm ready with the throttle just in case. You do have to put some torque into the pedals. And oh yeah, rips right through it. Super easy. So let's take the sand all the way back. Now let's cut over to this side. So I'm running the tires at about 20 PSI, maybe a little bit under. I bet if you cut down to like 10, 15 pounds, you just float on that sand. All right, here you go with a shady spot. We can take a look at the display. Hopefully it's not flickering. If it is flickering, that's the camera, not the display. It is nice and sharp and steady in person. So on the display, you've got battery at the top, speed here, and then you've got this information line down at the bottom that we can select what it tells us about what's going on with the bike. So right now I've got 0 watts of power. That's because I'm obviously not moving, right? So as you're moving and you're adding power in with pedal assist, this tells you how many watts of power you're using. The next screen over is calories. That's how many calories I've burned today so far on this ride. I've used 2% battery, so I'm at 98% right now. 12.1 miles on this trip. 15 miles total since I've begun riding this bike. Trike, excuse me. It's hard to break that habit. 20.5 miles per hour was my max speed. My average moving speed is 9.7 miles per hour. I've been going 1 hour and 14 minutes. My cadence is at 0 right now, so when you're not moving, obviously the pedals are not moving. And then my range right now, because I'm in off mode, it's just pedal only mode. It's got unlimited range, right? Just about how far I want to pedal it. But the minute I go into pedal assist, it will recalculate the range for the battery that's left, and then you go back to power screen there. So quite a bit of information to look at, some settings you can set and adjust for different things on the bike. Trike, excuse me, I did it again. All right, let me show you another feature because I'm on soft sand here and I need to get back to the path. One thing it's got is if you leave it in off and you hold the little foot button there, the down button, it will give you this just assist mode and you can just walk the bike. This is really handy if you're going up a hill. Makes life a lot easier. You just have to stand out on the side here. Watch out for that rear wheel. So real easy to just walk it back. All right, so let's work our way back to where we started and then we can go over everything again. I'll tell you how I felt about the CT10, give you my full review. All right, so what are my final thoughts on the CT10 Llama Trike? Loving this thing. It's definitely a joy to ride, super comfortable, super stable, handles all the bumps, handles the sand, you saw that. Lots of features, lots of load capacity, weight capacity if you want to carry a bunch of stuff with you. Maybe you want to do deliveries on this thing. Maybe you want to put your pooch on the front. Maybe you want to put a doggy on the front and a doggy on the back. I don't know, that's up to you. Definitely has room for like a speaker, a drink holder. Some things I'd like are maybe a phone holder so I can keep track of what's going on in the world as I ride. There's not much else you need with this thing. Maybe a mirror, keep track of who's coming up behind you when you're in a busy spot like this. Yeah, what else would you want on this thing? You might want that extra capacity with that other battery. It's going to add a little weight, but you'll have some definitely more capacity and distance, peace of mind, no distance anxiety, range anxiety. Overall, yeah, a really nice ride, a nice machine they've built here. Good job, Llama Trike. All right, so the last thing I could tell you is down below we'll have a link so you can get a hold of one of these CT10s. I'll have my own exclusive link down there if you want to get one for yourself, or if you want to learn more. I'll also pin a link down there so you can find it easily down in the comments. So thanks again to Llama Bike. Really enjoying this thing, having a great day. I'm gonna actually keep riding. I'm not gonna end the review here. I want to keep going way down there. So thanks for coming along on the ride with me today, and we'll see you guys in the next one.